In NASCAR's 75-year history, there have been many numbers come and go. On any given weekend, you will see 36 to 40 unique numbers on the track, and each of those numbers has a story to tell. Hi, I'm your host Matt, and this is NASCAR Number History, presented by Dogleg Media. In this series, we look to tell the stories of each of those numbers, who won with the number first, who found victory lane the most, and every other driver to grab a trophy in the number. We go in chronological order, and today we explore numbers 24 through 26. If you missed numbers 1 through 23, the Number History playlist will be linked below. But with that out of the way, let's dive in to some more NASCAR Number History. Let's start things off with number 24. So I think we all know who this number is really going to spotlight, especially considering the first to win is also the driver with the most wins. So before we dive into that legend, let's at least look at some of the other stats. The 24 has won 100 total races with 2 different winners. It's competed in 1,643 races and counting and has a 6.1% win percentage. The first to drive the number was Dick Clothier in 1950 at Daytona Beach. Some notable drivers to drive the 24: Richard Petty drove it in 1959 at Fayetteville. Bobby Allison, a name we've heard all too much in this series, had 11 starts in the 24 in 1966. Another Hall of Famer, Curtis Turner, would make a start in it at 1966 at Macon. And then Chase Elliott, he would have his start in the Cup Series in the number, racing it from 2016 to 2017. And now we get to the driver with the first and the most wins. Yeah, and this is a big one, folks. The California-born, Indiana-raced superstar Jeff Gordon would get his start at Hendrick Motorsports in the 24 machine in 1992, making select starts. His rookie season would be in 1993, and while he didn't win a race his rookie season, he would win that season's Rookie of the Year award. Gordon would record his and the number's first Cup Series victory in 1994 at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. Getting his first win in a crown jewel was only the beginning for Gordon. He would win 4 total championships in his Cup Series career in 1995, 1997, 1998, and 2001. His list of crown jewels is a long one, winning 3 Daytona 500s, 5 Brickyard 400s including the very first one in 1994, 6 Southern 500s, winning 4 in a row from 1995 to 1998, 3 Coca-Cola 600s, and 3 All-Star race wins. All in all, Gordon would collect 93 total wins in the Cup Series, all coming in the 24. Gordon would compete in 797 races in the 24 and had a whopping 11.7 winning percentage while driving the number. Gordon is now the vice chairman at Hendrick Motorsports and is poised to take over the organization when Rick Hendrick hangs it up. His prowess for seeing talent in drivers is also unmatched, being the driving force behind Jimmy Johnson coming to Hendrick. Gordon is on the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR drivers, and his induction into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2019 was rightfully earned. And now let's talk about the current driver, William Byron. Byron, being the current driver of the 24, is the guy who just gave the number its 100th win in the Cup Series. Byron would get his start at Hendrick Motorsports after winning the Xfinity Series Championship for Junior Motorsports in 2017. Byron would win the 2018 Rookie of the Year award, but his first career win wouldn't come until 2020 at Daytona, a clutch win to lock himself into the playoffs. Byron has really come into his own since 2020, having multi-win seasons the last 3 years, with his win at Darlington this season giving the number its 100th win, and was his 3rd of the season so far. While it's extremely unlikely Byron comes close to the success Gordon had in the number, it definitely isn't fair to hold him to that standard. Byron is definitely a talented driver, more than capable of winning dozens of races, and even championships. Byron is starting to find a rhythm. How many more wins do you see him getting not only this season, but overall in his career? Also, do you think he ever wins a championship? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, here it is, my favorite number in all of NASCAR. I know what some of my longtime viewers are thinking, but Matt, you're a Jimmy Johnson fan. Why is the 25 your favorite number? This is why.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I wish so badly for Hendrick to bring this number back, retire the 48, it has seen its best days. But enough about that, let's actually talk numbers for the number. The 25 has 21 total wins with 8 different winners. It's competed in 1,321 races with a 1.5% win percentage. The first to win was Jack White in 1949 at Hamburg. This would be White's only Cup Series win in only 12 starts, getting his first win in NASCAR's first season. The driver with the most wins would be Tim Richmond. Richmond would drive from 1986 to 1987, making 37 total starts on the number. In his one full-time season of 1986 on the number, he would win 7 times, including that year's Southern 500, and would finish 3rd in the overall point standings. Richmond would fall ill at the end of 1986, which was later determined to be HIV. Richmond would make 8 total starts in 1987, winning 2 of them, before resigning from Hendrick Motorsports. Richmond's final moments in NASCAR weren't exactly ideal, failing a drug test with NASCAR resulting in a suspension, a decision that Richmond would later sue NASCAR over. Without picking sides, it's definitely one of the more sad stories in NASCAR. Richmond would ultimately be named to NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers list. Now let's touch on some other winners, starting with Dick Linder. Linder would grab 3 wins in the 25, all coming in 1950. These 3 wins would be the only wins Linder would get in his 28-race career. And then we move on to Ken Schrader. Schrader would pilot the Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from 1988 to 1996, collecting all 4 of his Cup Series victories in the number, with his last career victory coming in 1991 at Dover. The next to win after Schrader would be Jerry Nadeau. Nadeau would drive the number for Hendrick Motorsports from 2000 to 2002, with his only career victory coming in 2000 at the season finale at Atlanta. And then we move on to Brian Vickers. Vickers would get his Cup Series start in the number for Hendrick in 2003, and would pilot it until the end of the 2006 season. Vickers would earn his first Cup Series victory in the 25 at Talladega in 2006, his only win in the number. And then there's this 25. The neon yellow number, the National Guard Coca-Cola 600 scheme. This is peak 25 in my opinion. Casey Mears would only pilot the 25 for 1 season, the number's last full-time season in 2007. It would be this season that Mears would collect the only win of his career in a fuel mileage race at the Coca-Cola 600. I don't remember a lot from that season, except of course Jimmy Johnson winning his 2nd career title, but no race stands out quite like this one. This win by Mears would be the last in the number's history currently. And now let's talk about the current driver. Except unfortunately the 25 doesn't have a current full-time driver, and as much as I would like for Hendrick to change that, I don't see it happening. The number was used for developmental drivers in the Hendrick Xfinity stable to get their feet wet in the Cup Series. NASCAR champions Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott would get their first couple Cup starts in the number. Will we ever see the 25 back in the Hendrick fold, or will it fall to another team to give it the love it deserves? Whichever it is, I hope it's soon. Now let's finish this video off with the number 26. The 26 has 22 total victories with 8 different drivers. It has competed in 1,109 races with a 2% winning percentage. There's been many Hall of Famers drive this number, and the first to win is one of them, with Curtis Turner winning the first race for the 26 in 1958 in Atlanta. He would collect 2 total wins driving the number 26. Now let's move on to the driver with the most wins, Junior Johnson. That's right, another Hall of Famer to pilot the 26. He would find the most success in the number, winning 12 total times, over half of the number's victories. Johnson would make 35 starts in the 26, with all but one of them coming in 1965. Driving for his own team, he would win all 12 of his victories in the 26 in 1965, even earning his final career win in the number. Johnson had a 34% win rate in the number, so it was definitely a good number to him. Johnson was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010, and is certainly a legend of our sport. And now let's look at some other winners of the number 26, starting off with Fred Lorenzen. Lorenzen is yet another Hall of Famer to pilot the 26 and grab a win, with his win in 1962 at Augusta. Lorenzen was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2015. And the Hall of Famers keep on rolling in, because Bobby Isaac would get a win in the 1964 Daytona race in the number 26. Isaac is also a Cup champion, and was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2016. And then Darel Dieringer, he would get a win in 1967 at North Wilkesboro. Yeah, I got his name right this time. Sorry about that, guys. Dieringer's last win would come in the 26 at North Wilkesboro, driving for Junior Johnson, and he would lead every single lap from the pole in this race. Unreal. Ricky Rudd, he would grab 2 wins as well, driving for King Racing in 1988 and 1989, driving the number 26. Rudd was named to one of NASCAR's 50 Greatest Drivers list as well. And then there's Brett Bodine. He would grab 1 win in 1990 at North Wilkesboro. He would pilot the 26 for King Racing from 90 to 94, and this would be his only Cup Series win. And then finally, it's Jamie McMurray. McMurray is the last driver to take the 26 to victory lane, driving for Roush Fenway, with the last victory for the number coming in 2009 at Talladega. McMurray would grab 2 total wins in the 26, both of these coming at super speedways Daytona and Talladega, with his win in Daytona being a crazy close finish with Kyle Busch, an instant classic. And then we have an honorable mention to one Ricky Bobby. Thanks to the boss for this mention, and they're right. We can't talk about the 26 without talking about the driver who pissed excellence and taught us that if you ain't first, you're last. While he never won an official Cup Series race, we all know how to shake it and bake it because of good old Ricky Bobby and that Wonder Bread 26 machine. And then we go to the current driver, which there's not currently a driver for the 26 car. It hasn't really had a full-time driver since Jamie McMurray. And I'm certainly wrong on this, somebody will definitely let me know in the comments. But it'll be interesting to see if and when a team picks up the 26 and how long it will be before it sees victory lane again. And that'll do it for numbers 24 through 26. It's pretty cool that the 24 got its 100th win just in time for this video to come out. As always, I'm prone to forgetting drivers. Let me know which drivers of any of these numbers I may have missed for this one. If you haven't seen numbers 1 through 23, the number history playlist will be linked below. Be sure to check them out. We will be back next week with numbers 27 through 29. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. It helps a ton and I definitely appreciate it. But that'll do it for us here at Dogleg Media. I'm Matt, your host, and you've been watching NASCAR Number History. I'll see you next time.